This podcast is just for fun. It's all fake. Don't believe us. Look, do your own research.
Fantastic.
Dr. Phil. Feeling spicy for sure.
Can you feel the love?
Well, I don't want to overfill it though. Welcome
to
the
show.
You gotta say show this time. That was beautiful. You sang it.
Exciting. That was exciting.
That was gorgeous. Oh man. So I don't know if you listened last week, but there's no Phil.
I know. I'm sad.
He left us.
Last time Phil left, we cried and stuff. We're not going to cry today, though. We're going to have fun today.
Yeah, we're going to have tons of fun. He had to leave early, so it's just Mike and I recording again.
Yep.
Last time we cried.
We got deep. We got deep last time.
I don't think we're going to do that this time.
No, we're going to get a little silly. Yeah.
Maybe a little philosophical. That didn't work.
Yeah, no.
I pronounced it wrong. It would have worked.
Yeah.
Philosophical.
Yeah.
But I pronounced it dumb.
I liked it, though. It was nice. It was nice. Hey,
Mike, fill me in.
You know what, though? So, like, with Phil...
Sorry.
So we're going to fix this thing like we have a Phillips screwdriver.
Yeah.
And,
for real. I just can't get my fill, man. I can't.
So I think with Phil gone, we need to have the spirit of Phil here. So I think right now, you and I, we need to, between the two of us, we need to give these guys our best Phil impression.
Yes.
And Phil will be hearing this for the first time when this comes out too, because he's not here. So
absolutely.
These are going to be our best
Felicious,
our Philtastic Phil impressions.
Okay.
All right. You going first? You want me to go
first? You
go
first.
Okay, I'll go first. All right. You got to get warmed up. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Did you guys catch that thing? You know what's the thing? You know what the thing? The thing. You guys know what I'm talking about? All right, that's my Phil impression.
Oh man, that was
love
good.
That guy.
All
right, your turn. Your turn. that was good.
Was that freaking really Phil laugh?
That was really good.
His laugh is so contagious.
I love his laugh, man.
Oh man,
yep.
Man,
Yep. Brightens my day for sure. Definitely.
Dr. Phil, man. Oh man. I can definitely feel the love in here for Phil.
Can you feel the love tonight? So he even gets a song. Like this episode is dedicated to our good friend Phil.
Well, I don't want to overfill it though.
We're gonna fill it to the rim with all this Phil talk.
Oh man, it's amazing. I feel like we're filibustering.
That was a stretch. I like
a little bit.
I like that.
Oh yeah, feeling spicy for sure. But I got a list. See, Phil might not be here, but he's definitely here.
He's here. He's here. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, what do we got? What do we got to talk about today?
Okay. Let's start with some yeah. Got to do the crank.
Can cracking.
Why can't I say can crack? The cran cracking.
Can cracking.
Cran cracking Crofi. Next week we will do let's announce it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So next week's episode will be our 1 year anniversary episode of starting this podcast. It's been a year, dude. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Both, it feels like it has not been a year. Like we've been doing this a few months because I love podcast days. Yeah. I have so much fun.
I really look forward to it.
I love it. And That was the one thing I said when we set out to do this is I never want it to feel like work. Unless
keep doing this the whole episode.
Unless it pays us like work. So if it ever stops being fun, we need to figure out how to change it up, do it less often, change up, give people time off, rotate, whatever we need to do to make it fun.
Right.
Because it needs to be enjoyable and not, it doesn't need, I don't want it to ever feel like work.
Right.
But, and yeah, after a year, I am still having a blast doing this.
Yeah.
And especially the recording. Sometimes the getting it out there and stuff, I get a little like, I don't feel like messing with the like editing. I'm just going to put it out there kind of thing. But the actual recording of the show, I'm still having a blast.
I really look for, and I know what's coming and I know it's our voices, but I really look forward to when it comes out and getting to listen to it and laugh all over again. But not only that, like I catch things in the episode that I'm like, I don't remember us talking about that. But
yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but that means two things that are going to happen though. The first thing is that school's starting back up. That means all of us pretty much are going to be busier.
Right.
So the episodes it takes a little more to record, but also, so that means that Mike, you're not necessarily going to be on every week during the school year.
Yep.
But you have enjoyed it and we've enjoyed having you so much that we want to make you a continued regular. So we're changing things up a little bit to allow Mike to be able to record more often during the school year than he would.
Yeah.
Because normally if the day we record, you literally couldn't.
Right.
Also,
and I'm excited. I didn't know what to expect. Like, you know, when you first started the podcast, we have our conversations like we do. We talk about on the podcast, the way we talk on here, we talk like that all the time anyway.
Yes.
But we would have these conversations and you'd be like, hey, you should, we'll have to have you on the podcast sometime. And I'm glad that it's turned into just, hey, you should be on sometime to now. I feel like I'm part of the family, part of the podcast group.
Very much so.
Like I'm part of the show. So I like that.
Absolutely. But also, surprise to the listeners, we're working on Courtney coming back as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a little changing. And part of the reason we're recording, if you listen to last week's episode, I shared that we were recording 2 episodes in one day.
Settle down,
man,
bro.
That thing, every time you touch it, it's like, wah. But part of the reason we're recording 2 episodes in one day is to give us a little bit bigger of a break because both it's busy for us, but also so we can make sure we have time to arrange the setup so that we can bring Courtney back. And if we have 4 of us, then we have 4 mics and 4 places to sit and 4 whatever. But also that helps us because then we can bring in a guest and still have a 3-person core.
Yeah.
Without having to kick one of the main people, out. Like,
I'm excited to see how the
kick
4
a main
of us
person out,
come together. Because we've never done that before with all 4 of us. I'm excited because,
The tentative plan is that the next episode should have all 4 of us on it, and it will be a 1-year celebration. We're going to kind of go crazy. It's going to be a good episode.
It's going to be fun. We're planning on presenting the Can Crack a Champion,
and that's
trophy. Macy's putting that together. I've seen it. It's pretty great. I may have to, if I don't win, I may have to have her make me one anyway because it's turned out pretty cool. I'm impressed. She's done a really good job with it. She's a pretty good artist. So yeah, we'll share pictures with it once we present it and everything else. So
yeah, because Phil and I have not even seen it, and
they have no idea.
And moving forward, the hope is we're kind of going to record on a different day, move things around a little bit, but the show will still come out on the same day, same time. We try to get it out by 5:00 on Wednesdays. But I know you guys understand that if things come up or whatever, and we have to release a day later, whatever, we'll let you guys know. But we try to still, so we're going to stay with the release date, but record a different day a little earlier. So the only disadvantage to that is, whereas in last week's episode, there was news that was instantly relevant, and then the next day you get that news. So we got an idea from one of our podcasters, Monkey. He suggested that an alternative to ensuring that we have up-to-date stuff is when something does come up-to-date, we could just go live with whoever is available and do just like a live emergency episode kind of thing.
Like a little mini episode. That's smart. I like that.
Which
Courtney's a smart dude.
And more often than not, it would probably just be Courtney and I with the kids around, but we could pop it up and go live, and that would give you guys the opportunity to, we'd probably go live on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, that would probably be where we would go live. But I could also go live on the Podbean. Yeah. So it'd be the actual, but anyway, so
even
if
you want to go Spotify,
news,
you could go like episode 47B or something. I don't know how.
Or just emergency episode. Just call them. Like I would imagine we would just call them emergency episodes.
That is a wonderful idea.
Hey,
I've been holding on to that one. I was waiting.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Man, I'm filling the void.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
You can't just keep going filling things.
I can, because we're filling up the airwaves with it. That is cheating, because Illuminati.
But it works. I mean, it works.
Yeah. But I don't even know what I was talking about. Things.
Emergency episodes.
Yeah, emergency episodes. We'll probably just call them emergency episodes, and they will not take place of the actual episode.
Yeah. I like
like when the earthquake in Russia happened, I was just chilling at home. I could have just popped on, gone live, but I was like, no, because we will literally talk about that on when we record, and then I'll put it out the next day.
Right.
So now what we'll do is anything huge like that, we'll just do an emergency episode.
Yeah, sounds good.
We also are working on unveiling, and we're not quite there yet, but unveiling a plan for a Patreon. And the Patreon will have a few different tiers. One of the tiers, I've already planned this part out at least. One of the tiers, whenever I make a new hot sauce, you will get mailed a trial. You'll get mailed your own bottle of hot sauce. That'll be like the more expensive tiers, but we'll have super cheap tiers. And so the idea is any money, and I've been doing this with the hot sauce already, that any money coming in from any of this stuff is going to go towards continuing the podcast and continuing to upgrade our equipment, get camera stuff set up, help us to pay for better programs to maybe put out more shorts, that kind of stuff. So any money that comes in from the Patreon will go towards the episode, but we'll have special content also as like on the Patreon as well. We've got a few ideas of how we're going to work it, but we don't have it figured out completely.
Right.
So if you have any ideas of something that you would like from us that you'd be willing to pay a few bucks a month for, like let's say the bottom tier is $5 a month, if you're something that you're like saying, hey, I'd pay $5 a month to have video of the podcast. Yeah. I'd pay $5 a month to have the conversations that occur before and after, because I have to cut an hour a lot of times of the before and after our conversation.
There's so many times too when stuff happens like before the episode and we are dying laughing. Yeah. And we're like, man, we should have saved that for the pod. But
if you'd be willing to pay for that, it's not really going to be an episode, but it could be because I'll just literally hit record the second we sit down.
Yeah.
And we could post the stuff before we start the recording.
Gym conversations. How fun would that be if we recorded while we're at the gym? Just the random silly, like we were dancing the other day. Like it gets ridiculous.
It really wouldn't be difficult to get mic'd up audio of that.
Yeah.
Video might be a little tougher because if there's other people in there, but we really could just start.
But there rarely is there a whole lot of it.
We more often gym,
But
we could
might not mind being on, it could be things we can get waivers and stuff for. I was just thinking in my head, like we have a lot of fun. God, we just have a lot of fun in the gym. We're just like silly gym bros. We're as silly in the gym as we are here. We don't take it too serious. So
and at the very least we could have the mic'd up stuff and you could hear us grunting through our workouts. But I don't know. I'm just coming up with 100 different ideas.
Whatever you guys think.
But ultimately we want to provide something that you would tangibly say, hey, I would actually pay money for this. We want to provide that.
And to reiterate, this isn't a paycheck thing. This is going to make the podcast better. It's going to make the experience better. It's going to help grow. I love this podcast. I hope you guys too, if you're listening. And it's going to be a better experience for everybody.
And I would say, as is, from me being able to like pay for more programs, more equipment, anything like that, we're maxed out because I'm paying to host. And I've got a couple of websites that I pay to use the AI features on. so that I can get better content out there and better editing and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I'm tapped out. So from now on, and money that comes in from buying Dubby, that's a good shout out right now. Our code is BA Bigfoot. We're sponsored by Dubby. Go to dubby.gg and put in the code BA Bigfoot. They have like a sampler pack that you get a free shaker with. It's like $14.
Yeah, I got it. The shakers are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty cool shakers.
They're not very, and it's not very expensive to get the sample pack, but if you do that, a couple bucks comes to us. If enough people do that, a lot of couple bucks comes to us.
Definitely.
So things like that they're helping, but we're kind of tapped out as far as our resources. And so we're looking at ways in which we can meet a need that might be there that you guys would be willing to.
Yeah. Another idea too, like if any of our listeners, if any of you guys are in any sort of industry or have something that, would benefit the podcast, that'd be cool too. Like almost like a, not really a sponsor, but like a sponsor kind of situation. Like say you are into screen printing and you want to get into helping us with merch.
Yeah.
Something like that would be great. If something you do on the side helps us, be part of that. We would give you 100% credit for everything you help out with, for sure.
For real though, I keep saying Phil.
Like I push Macy's art stuff because she's going to help us out with some art things. So I push her art stuff. We don't pay her; she doesn't pay us anything, but she helps us out with her art skills and things like that.
I am this close to buying our own printer press, screen. Yeah, the you know what I'm talking about. To press it on t-shirts. I'm this close because we do enough stuff with our ministry that needs shirts.
Right.
Then if we did stuff with the podcast, if people were buying shirts, then if people wanted to use us to make them shirts and we could make some money. For the ministry.
People are always looking for shirts.
Yeah.
They're always looking for custom shirts. They really are shirts and hats.
Yeah. Right. And so I'm pretty close to, honestly, that might be something I save up for if we do a Patreon, save up for, a few months worth of people's Patreons too. But anyway, somebody did shout out, said that they wanted salsa. I love making salsa. And so maybe Mike and I will get together one of these Saturdays and make some salsa that we could sell, give out on the Patreon or whatever for local people. Salsa might be a little tougher to ship, but if you're local, you could maybe buy some salsa from us and use the money to help pay for things like that. But anyway, that's a lot of conversation that we're asking for you, the listeners, help to help us, to help you, to give the content you guys want. And the
listeners are helping this podcast grow so fast that it's time that we got to take it to the next level. I mean,
we're at that point.
It's growing so fast that in order to keep up, we gotta be thinking about things like that. How can we keep that momentum going?
One other thing that Patreon will do is you will get ad-free episodes on Patreon if you do at any level. So even if you subscribe at the lowest tier, and let's say we haven't decided yet, but let's say we make the lowest tier a couple bucks. Then, because I've had enough of you guys complain about the
that was a big complaint when you started getting ads,
because we get money from the ads. But if we're making enough money from the Patreon, I'll even consider shutting off the ads. If we're making enough money from the Patreon to help cover all of our costs, I'll shut the ads off until we got so big that the ads would be impossible to ignore. But one way or the other, you would get Patreon commercial free ad free, commercial free too. You'd get ad free episodes.
It'd be kind of cool if we got to the point where we get to make the ads.
I would love
kind of like Ninjas and Butterflies. They make their own ads and they're just silly, and that would be so fun.
I want to get
their own ads
to that point, and I know the marker, and we're still long enough ways away from it that. But we continue. We can, like you said, we continue to grow.
Yeah.
If maybe this time next year, I did not think that less than 1 year in we would be monetized.
Yeah,
I really didn't. So the fact that we are, that's crazy.
Yep.
We're in the top 10% of podcasts, because to get monetized, they say you're in the top 10%.
Right. Yep.
Which is crazy.
That's a big deal.
I would have never imagined that.
Yeah.
But the people who make like big money are the ones who are in the top 1%.
Yeah.
The other 9%, it's still a hobby. It's still not. It's not. But anyway. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Outside of that, So I know we talked a long time on that. I'm gonna open a can.
It's opening a can. I'm just doing all the voices today. God, too bad that doesn't count because that was crispy.
I'm counting that anyway. No, I'm just kidding. All I did not like those ones that much. Do you want to try it?
What is it? Is it the orange sickle one?
I'm not going to name their brand because I just said I don't like them.
It tastes like, I wouldn't say the brand either. It tastes like a vodka seltzer without the vodka.
It's bad. Yeah, I don't.
No. Maybe if I was like really thirsty.
I purchased.
I don't know. Yeah,
I purchased a 12-pack of those.
Yeah, they're not good.
6 months ago.
Yeah,
and they're still around.
Yeah,
I just can't bring myself. But I opened it.
Really like that flavor. That like it tastes like when your like leg falls asleep and it's tingling.
Yeah, dude.
That's what the taste is like.
Well, and orange cream is one of my favorite flavors.
Yeah,
and I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know how bad you got to be if I don't even like one of my favorite flavors of your flavor?
Right.
Gross.
Yeah. So we'll just use it for can opening purposes. Just
for the episode
to fill the space.
Hey. You know, honestly, I got to put the can saver on it because I'm going to save that to drink later when I'm more desperate. I'm just kidding. Tomorrow when I'm like, I really need some caffeine, I'll be like, all right, I better drink the one I opened yesterday.
Chug it really fast.
Yep. Yeah, literally.
In the ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?
My brain is, this episode is going to be fried.
So unfocused right
yeah,
now.
Dude.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
And
part of it, I think part of the reason it's unfocused, we were talking about in the gym a little bit, just like my brain is unfocused right now.
Yeah.
Because we're
at that point in the school, when you work around school schedules and stuff, you get to the point where you're, we talked about in the gym, you get to the point where you need to start focusing on school, but you're still wanting to hang on to your last like week or two of school.
Right.
You know? Yeah. I don't know. And a lot of people don't go through that as an adult because you did that as a kid and they don't really remember that. But we work in schools. And so, we never got out of that kind of cycle. So our brains are 100% school ready, but at the same time, trying to cling to the, those last few days of being in school.
Well, it's always been our philosophy to take the last couple weeks and really just enjoy them without like going and spending a ton of money. Because like when you go on a vacation, there's two kinds of vacations. There's the kind of vacation that you get back and you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah. Amen.
And then there's kind of a vacation that is actually relaxing and you're just chilling and you come back, you're refreshed, you're ready to go, and work doesn't seem as daunting anymore.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that those last couple of weeks, even though we're still working because we still got to plan for the semester and that kind of stuff, but we want to have that feeling of like, okay, those last 2 weeks really kind of, we feel refreshed and we're ready to hit the school year because we support Raise all summer. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm a missionary. And so both my wife and I are full-time in missions. So the way that our income works is individuals and churches come alongside us and basically donate to what our salary is decided by Assemblies of God U.S. Missions. So we have a certain dollar amount. The Assemblies of God U.S. Missions tells us that like we have to raise this much money in order to be considered financially healthy. And it's basically they base it off of what a local teacher would make because they kind of see us in the same field. So our income is based off of what a local teacher would make and then the cost of running the ministry.
Right. And so people, and so that people can understand that too, because I 100% have so much respect for you and Courtney and how you do the things because, number one, when I go and I support you at a church and listen to your ministry and stuff, it is great because one of the things you do at the very beginning is you're like, hey, I got to get this out of the way. You don't try to hide it. You don't try to come up with some, biblically biblical reason for why they need to do this, you're very upfront and you're saying, hey, this is the business part of what I need to talk to you about.
Right.
And we can't do what we do unless you guys help us out. And I love that you are very upfront with that. The second part of that, though, you guys are not making like a teacher salary, like a teacher salary. You guys are making like a starter teacher salary. Yeah. And I respect that a lot, because like if I tell people too, when they complain about, teachers don't make enough money, they don't when they first start.
Right.
But if you stick around in education long enough and you continue your education, eventually you start to make, a pretty good living as a teacher. And I know for you guys, that is not the case. You don't have that opportunity. And I know when you get titles and things like that, it gives you more credibility, and it gives you more respect from the community and, both the town community and the church community. But it doesn't give you any more money.
No.
So yeah, you guys make living those means look effortless. So I'm impressed with that. Yeah.
I will say that I've noticed very early on, God multiplies our money, and I don't know how to explain it, because we account for our money, we budget, and there'll be months where I'm like, I don't fully understand, but it seemed like bills cost less this month.
There's times that we got through. We look back.
You're like, what? How did we get through that month?
There's times when Beth and I will look back and we look back at finance and we're like, how did we survive?
Yeah.
How did we get by during this time when we did not make very much money? And now it seems like, even sometimes now, it feels like we live paycheck to paycheck, and we do pretty well. I've been in education long enough, and she works full time and everything else, and we do pretty well. But like there's weeks when we're like, it's a little tight. Yeah, one of the, and I don't like to complain about finances or anything like that, but one aspect that it blows my mind though too is that even compared to other missionaries, with Courtney's health things that have come up, and then now both Bryson and Bennett's health things that have popped up, and then me tearing my and babies are expensive.
Oh man, but our
babies are expensive.
Our medical debt that we racked up over the last 15 years worth of everything, and even with insurance, the medical debt that we have, we're paying basically. I'm just to give an example, we're paying more than our car payment every month to 10 different hospitals, from different things that have happened. And so it's like, because we were hoping to buy a house soon, and I just kind of think through practically, and I'm like, man, if we didn't have all of the medical debt that we have, we would be able to afford a house 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But all that medical debt adds up, and it's still, and so now thinking through, okay, we already are earning, like you said, low end teacher income. We have all this medical debt, and still somehow God provides a way, and we're realistically looking at buying a house.
Well, and things happen when
we budget very strongly.
I truly believe that things happen the way they're supposed to happen, and it'll happen when it happens. But
yeah.
All right, we're being serious. We got to be silly and fun.
So
we tend to do that, don't we? We get a little serious.
I know. So let's do some episodes. Some.
All right, one more Phil pun.
One more Phil pun.
What do you got?
Let me see.
Filibuster was the one that one got me. That one was well thought out. I like that one.
The rest of them are okay. Okay, so if you follow me to the starter list.
That one was a stretch. To
the starters,
Phil would have caught that one. He would have whistle laughed. He would have whistle laughed at that one for sure. He's probably whistle laughing right now
while listening to the episode. Yeah, because he actually. Yeah, but anyway, okay. Have you heard of the dark forest theory that NASA published?
I know I've read about it. I know I've heard it. Fill me in.
When you go out to a dark forest and think about being in the Appalachia forests,
and I've never been, but I've heard you guys talk about it, and I've watched movies and videos, and I'm like, man, something could be like 5 feet away from you, and you wouldn't be able to see it.
They're thick.
Yeah.
So now imagine you just randomly get dropped off in the middle of the forest. You have no clue where you're at.
Okay.
And you hear off in the distance some weird noises or something. Do you walk around in the dark forest making a ton of noise, or do you kind of try to sneak through, try to find your way out?
I stand still until I can see something.
You would be as inconspicuous as you possibly could.
I've been there. We've talked about the Nebraska Boys Ranch
Yeah.
So we worked out there, and it gets dark out there.
Dork.
Like there is no street lights, no nothing. And if there's no moon in the sky, it is like can't see your hand in front of your face dark.
That place is probably one of, I would bet, one of the most remote places in Nebraska.
So that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, if I'm dropped in the woods and I can't see something and there's noise, I'm standing still.
Yeah.
And I will stand there until I can see something.
Exactly. You would be as inconspicuous as possible.
Yeah. That's
now imagine like, in the rainforest where there's like spiders and that's things that are going to take you out.
What else is there? Yeah.
So you're just going to be like, you're going to be quiet. You're going to be trying to notice everything you can. You're not going to be moving very fast. You're going to kind of like just chill. Right. So NASA basically came out and said that they can confirm that there's other life forces out there, but they are treating it as though we are going through the galaxy in a dark forest.
Oh, right.
They're now intentionally no longer trying to make contact.
Right.
They're no longer trying to make noise and show, like, look over here.
Right.
Because the thought process is that if their theory is that everybody, and the reason we haven't detected any life, really, like, we don't know for sure that there's life on other planets or anything like that.
Yeah.
Their theory is that they're approaching it the same way as a dark forest theory, and that the other animals in a dark forest, like when there's a cougar nearby, the birds go quiet.
Yeah.
Because they don't want them to know they're there.
Have you ever been when the eclipse happened out here? Were you?
Yeah, I was out. I was out.
The eclipse.
We went way out to the that park
was weird.
Yeah.
So if you've never been in an eclipse before, when the eclipse happens, for the few seconds that it is completely dark in that eclipse, because it's light, and you can't even you don't want to look right at the sun because you're looking at the sun.
Right.
And then it's just dark. Birds don't chirp, and it just
gets quiet.
Dead. Silent. I could hear people's air conditioners run from in town. We were out because we live on the edge of town. We were out in the middle of a cornfield. We could hear air conditioners run like in town. It was so dead quiet. We could hear like car engines running and things like that. And birds completely stopped for those few seconds. And then it picked right back up.
It makes you almost wonder if they're just admiring the beauty of it too.
Yeah. You know what? I did. There was another theory too that came out with the sending information out to the aliens that came out. There was I wish I knew we were going to talk about this because I'd researched it more. But there was a few scientists that started looking at it from a different angle rather than discovery. They started looking at it as from like a predatory kind of angle. And what they figured out was, like, as humans throughout history, we need protein. And, we need protein because higher protein creates higher IQs, makes us smarter. Right. And so, early on, by accident or on purpose, they figured out that the bigger the animal and the more intelligent the animal, the more protein it provided.
Right.
And so we were eating the other animals to get that high protein level. So they said, what if... let's look at it from a predatory standpoint. If there are aliens and we send out all these signals, hey, here we are. We send out these signals, they show up on Earth and they see an intelligent being that is way below them technologically. It's a food source. We are not friends. We are food. And so they were like, you know what? We need to stop sending signals out into space because maybe we don't want them to know we're here. We need to just stand still and be quiet. Yeah. So there's the other angle of it too. Now we are trying to hide and be quiet, because we're like, maybe we don't want, if there is something out there and they are traveling that far, or they have the means to travel that distance that fast, they are so technologically advanced, they're going to see us as a food source.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's like, because you never really think about it that, in other countries, they eat like monkeys and things like that too. And
humans do that. The first thing when they discover a new animal, they want to see if they can eat it. It's weird. Like that's throughout history, humans have done that. Well, looking at the Old West with the buffalo and things like that. The Europeans that came over, took over, whatever. They killed all the buffalo because they knew that the natives, that was their main protein source.
Yeah.
And so they went and they killed all the buffalo. And so, yeah, and we just have always understood that we need a high protein source in order to be intelligent and to further our existence and continue to grow intellectually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
that was a way of stopping that from happening.
We're just a Philly cheesesteak to these.
Yeah.
Philly cheesesteak.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Gosh, keep them coming. But, no, that's crazy. And then in that case, the other intelligent species though would assume that there's other intelligent species who would, and if they know this information as well, they're not going to be putting out information that they exist.
No.
And that kind of goes back to my thought process of, if aliens were real, we wouldn't know we wouldn't know they exist anyway.
No.
They wouldn't just come here and be like, "Hi guys.
Yeah.
Here, let me crash land."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it, just wouldn't happen.
No, not if they're that technologically advanced. There's no way.
Not a chance.
Yeah. And at that high level.
Yeah.
Of that many sightings and crashes, unless they were ready to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so as somebody who's gone hunting before, and I know we got a lot of hunters in the area, you're not going to, go trampling through the woods. And then, if you're looking for food, you're not going to announce it. You're not going to make a big deal out of it and show up and have bright lights and everything else. You're going to be real sneaky. And then all of a sudden, bam, dinner,
And the only exception to that would be, and that wouldn't even be an exception, because I was thinking C.S. Lewis's theory is that God had created other planets of intelligent species.
Yeah.
But our planet is the only planet that rebelled against God.
Well,
so that would be why angels got cast here, and why...
and that fits into a lot of different cultures' ideas of where we came from too. Yeah. There's a lot of cultures that have similar ideas of this being almost like, I don't want to say a prison, but like a realm for the rejected.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, so they would, but basically kind of thinking through that though, they would kind of like avoid us because they'd be like, "That's the dark planet. That's the planet that rebelled."
Yeah. You ever seen the memes where it says aliens probably drive by and they're like, "Oh, roll up the windows." It's Earth.
Yeah.
We're not stopping.
That's the planet.
You guys have to hold it. We're not stopping on Earth.
Yeah. That's the planet that destroys their own, let alone others, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and that would be kind of along the same lines of the dark forest theory too, in that like they would avoid our section of the galaxy. They would be like that section is off limits, let alone that planet.
Yeah.
If we were the only planet that rebelled against God, that would be,
Right.
And in theory, God could separate us because, and the concept of like, well, aliens can't exist because they, and kind of the thought process goes to like, aliens can't exist because they would need a Jesus too, but blah, blah, blah. Well, not if they didn't rebel.
That's true. Yeah. They wouldn't need someone to
They wouldn't need Jesus to die for their sins if they didn't sin.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't, in theory, God would still allow them to go forth and multiply the same way he did with humans, but humans sinned. And so therefore, and kind of brings that thought process of, but anyway, and they had free will, but they chose not to rebel, because angels,
right.
So angels versus demons in Scripture, demons are the ones who rebelled. Angels didn't, but they still have free will. They still could choose to rebel.
Okay, I have a question for you. This one's deep.
Okay.
If angels don't have free will, how are they able to rebel? Hit me.
They do have free will. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, angels do have free will?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was always taught that that's why angels were... The fallen angels were angry with the humans and angry with God is because he gave humans free will.
No. What the Bible teaches is that, I guess, even the Bible, specifically like the deceiver and stuff like that, is that it's more of the concept of that God chose us to be created in his image, and the angels wanted to have dominion over us and be in control of us, and God was like, no.
Oh, okay.
and they wanted that power and that authority. And God
gotcha.
was like, no. And so then they rebelled because they wanted that power and authority.
Yeah.
But also Satan wanted to be God. He wanted to overthrow God.
Yeah. He wanted people
to be
worship
that. Yeah.
him the same way that they worship God. I gotcha.
Yeah.
gotcha.
And so if you throw in the book of Enoch into that, which again, we were talking about when we were working out,
Yeah.
that Enoch was known by Jesus and Jude and was quoted in the Bible, but it's not considered a part of our canon. So you can't necessarily take it from a biblical standpoint. You can't hold it at the same regard as Scripture from a Christian lens. Like, I can't hold Enoch as 100% truth because we don't have the lineage that we have of other biblical documents.
Yeah.
And part of the reason we don't have that is because, and I didn't share this when we were working out. Part of the reason we don't have those documents is because early on, so it used to be a part of the Jewish canon. It was part of their holy text, but it pointed to Jesus so well that they started banning it and burning it.
Right.
And so the Jewish leaders and scholars started disassociating it, and eventually it became a banned text because of how well it pointed to Jesus.
Right. What if,
Crazy, right?
talking about Enoch again, because
Specifically first Enoch, not second or third Enoch.
And we've talked about this a little bit too. That it's an interesting book because I think it's an interesting book, and I'm not even scholarly when it comes to theology and things, but where he is taken to heaven without dying, goes to heaven, and they return him. What if that was one of the first alien abductions? Dun dun dun! Alien abductions.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if they're the same thing?
I think they are. Because have you studied?
What if an alien abduction is simply the person being taken to that other realm, whether it's heaven or hell or whatever?
Right.
They're taken to another, like the spiritual realm, and then brought back.
Have you ever looked into the cases of people who were being abducted but called out Jesus' name and the abduction stopped?
Yeah. It's interesting you bring
Weird,
that
right?
up because
A lot of them.
Listening to because you listened to the Exorcist Files and you were like, I think you'd be interested in this. So I started listening to it, and it's interesting listening to it, from different angles and things like that. And one thing I found was really interesting was they have an episode where they talk about how important names are in the spiritual realm, and we had talked about how important names are to some people, and we've lost, our society in general has lost how important names are. Like your name used to be your identity. It's who you were. 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, you could name your lineage.
Yeah.
For, generations. You could name your lineage because it was important to know where you came from.
Right.
And now I can't tell you past my great grandparents who they were, without some kind of AI
digging,
website or something. And it's probably, its accuracy is iffy.
Questionable.
At that. When we have DNA tracking and things like that. But names aren't that important. To me, my last name, I won't say my last name on here, but my last name is it's a Mexican last name. It's also a Spanish last name.
Yeah.
But for me, that last name is important. I met just some random guy at a teacher conference, and we had the same last name, and we were hyped. We were jumping up and down, high-fiving. It was cool to meet another person with the same last name as me. I do that every time I meet somebody. But sometimes I meet people that have the same last name as me, and they could care less that we have the same last name.
Yeah.
They don't think that's that cool. And but back to what I was saying, the names are their identity, and in fact, on there, a lot of the demons and stuff that he comes across in his stories, they don't have names. They're named after a vice or a sin. Yeah. They're named like murder, or they're named jealousy
of what they do.
That's what their name is. And him in his exorcism, knowing that demon's name gives him authority over that person by having his name. So I think that's interesting that a lot of people don't buy into the idea of just saying Jesus, saying Jesus' name, calling out Jesus' name will stop something evil from happening. But if this is true, that in the spiritual realm, your name carries that power, and they have to answer to those names. They live in and out of that, is part of who they are on a very, organic level. Then that would make sense.
Right. Very much so. And I mean, even Jesus, naming Peter, he went through and he named, he was like,
he renamed people.
Yeah.
Yeah. He renamed people. And that was a thing. He wasn't the only one though. Back then, that was a thing. You would rename people, to give them a new role, to give them a new job, basically a new role in your relationship. Yeah.
Want to know just a crazy story about names and what God's name is for us? Okay. So you know what my tattoo is.
Yes.
So we were at a conference, and at this conference they were talking about healing and just like letting go of just trauma and stuff like that, and like forgiving and what it looks like to walk in that forgiveness and that kind of stuff. And part of what they were doing, and they said, we want to take 15 minutes, and we just want you to pray about what, and he talked about Jesus renaming people, and he's like, just in this, and they straight up said, it was like, this isn't like, don't change your name, but like, just listen, and like, what comes to you, what name comes to you, and just kind of pray and ask God, like, what is my name to you? Like, Jesus, what would you name me? What would you rename me? And then write it down. And then he had a few different, like, big old textbooks of like what names mean and what they're, where they come from and that kind of stuff.
That's kind of fun to look at.
It was cool. It was a really cool experience. Well, I didn't get anything. I was just sitting, I was like, I'm not getting any names, so I don't have a name. And then this guy and part of the rules because we're all pastors, we weren't allowed to minister to each other, because our tendency in those moments is, I'm going to not focus on me and I'm going to help you.
Right.
We're all pastors.
Yeah.
But
we do the same thing in the counseling world. Yeah. So the same thing. We find ourselves trying to counsel everybody.
So the rule of the entire conference is you can't minister to each other. So I'm sitting there, and then this guy walks up and he goes, "Hey, God has a name for you." And I was like, "All right, what's that?" And he's like, I don't, just God's name for you. He says your name is Thor. And I was like, what? And I was like, let's talk about this. And then the leader was like, hey, no ministering to each other. And I was like, no, I need to know. And he's like, no ministering to each other. I was like, dang it. It's like, what the heck?
That's awesome.
How random is that?
Yeah.
I didn't show nobody like
you can't see it with your sleeves on.
And at that point in time in the pastoral world, like I was almost a little bit like almost quote unquote ashamed of my tattoo, because it's a Norse god.
Yeah, it's a Norse
so
tattoo.
If you don't know, and I guarantee this guy didn't know, I had never met this guy before. Mm-hmm. I couldn't even track him down after the fact, because he just had come with somebody else.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, I want to know more. And I tried to like figure like, hey, what else did you get from God? And I just couldn't find him.
Yeah.
But I know he existed because the other people knew him. It's just, I don't know how to track him down and anything like that. And for you guys listening at home, if you don't know, I have Mjolnir tattooed, big, huge.
Yeah.
Big old huge Mjolnir.
Thor's hammer.
Thor's hammer tattooed on my arm. Yeah. And not the comic book Thor's hammer, the actual Norse Celtic, like the Mjolnir, the traditional Mjolnir symbol for it. It's big old huge tattoo on my arm. It takes up 3/4 of my right arm. And this dude is just like, your name is Thor. Crazy. And so I looked up the name for Thor in the thing, and it was cool. It was actually a really cool experience.
Do you remember? This is a little more lighthearted, but do you remember when you found out like where our parents got your name from?
Yeah, I was so disappointed.
So funny story, because you thought growing up that you were named after some really cool epic character in like this old like J.R. Tolkien kind of story, and this epic story, and he's named after a cowboy in a Louis L'Amour Western book.
Because I think the only thing,
like the name.
Yeah, I think the only thing I was told was it was from a book.
Yeah.
And so I was like, my name's from
Which,
a book.
I mean, Louis L'Amour, if you're into Louis L'Amour, that's legit, but it wasn't what Tanner was thinking.
No.
So he thought it was some warrior with a sword or something. No, this is just, he was a cowhand in a book.
I was so disappointed. But no, it's interesting. Speaking of names, but my name, in the world, there is only 3 people with my name combination first and last.
You know
that
what?
I can find.
There is a
0 with all 3.
There's a dude in Scotts Bluff that I'm actually pretty good friends with, that we have all 3 our names are exactly the same, and our birthdays are only a couple weeks apart. and we're the same age.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and have the same age. And like I wasn't born here.
Yeah.
So there's no way like our parents like knew each other.
Right.
And yeah, we have the exact same
That's
first,
crazy.
middle, and last name, and almost the same birthday.
That's crazy. It's that's so funny. And
my name is so common.
That's what I was going to say.
So common.
All three of your names, first, middle, last, are super common names.
Yeah.
All three of mine are super not common names.
Yeah. Mine are so common. When I lived in Fort Collins, I went to CSU. There were 7 other people in town. Like if you looked in the old phone books, there were 7 other dudes in town with the same name as me.
That's crazy.
It's so common. When I moved back from Colorado, I got booked and fingerprinted because I was wanted for armed robbery in Arizona.
Oh gosh.
Because they had tagged my social security number on another guy who had the same name as me. And obviously it wasn't me. They looked at the pictures. They're like, oh yeah, that's not you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
that's crazy.
They brought me in and they questioned me and everything else. And yeah,
my name is so rare.
So common.
My name is so rare that the only other person on social media with my name, I tried to add him because I was like, how cool.
Yeah.
And I think he thought it was spam. And so he
you thought it was like
yeah.
I think thought it was like a fake account.
Yeah. I think after me messaging him and adding him, I think he did eventually let me.
Yeah. Our names are common enough. My guy with the same 3 names, we're friends on social media because we're friends in real life. But he uses all 3 names on his social media. And I only use 2. My name's so common. If you search me up, I'm really hard to find on social media because my name is so common. There are literally hundreds of dudes with the same name. Yep.
That's crazy because mine's literally the exact opposite.
Yep. So if you Google my name, it's great because if you Google my name, there's all these stories that come up. There's a really cool one about this waiter that had the same name as me and like this really cool stuff that he saved somebody's life and stuff. There's one of those stories that pops up but that's not me. You know? Yeah. I just have a very, very, very common name.
So to kind of transition into the little bit of material we still had left from last week that I wanted to talk about this week was we wanted to talk about specifically Robert Maxwell and names.
Oh yeah.
And part of the reason why it's so hard to track him down and his relatives down, he changed his name like 7 times. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the original, they have the name that he was born with, and then they have a couple reiterations, but so he was born in a very impoverished region, and then in order to make his name sound more like Austrian, they changed it, and then they continued to change it, and then eventually when he wanted to join the military, he changed it again, and then eventually when he was all said and done, there was another name change.
Yeah.
Tell me, this dude so we mentioned it last week that the UK Parliament has straight up said that he was a secret agent.
Right.
And he has ties to Mossad and the KGB. And so this guy has all these ties, and then his name is changed like 8 times. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I tried finding information about his siblings because, a lot of these guys who are in this world, the Helene Maxwell, I'm pronouncing it different every time.
Maxwell. Yes.
I'm trying to pronounce it different every time just for fun. But in that world, they go back generations, are involved in like CIA, and we talked about Tucker Carlson. His dad was involved, and they go back generations.
You look at like recruiting wise and things for secret organizations. Like, what better way to recruit than somebody who was part of it, like indirectly when they were younger? I mean,
and there's
understand the secret side of things,
right? There's a and I mean, even look at like the kings and stuff.
Yeah.
They interbred. All of the kings were related to each other.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
And they started having problems with like inbreeding because they were so
pure, but it got to be a problem. Yeah.
So they wanted the rich and the elite to maintain the rich and the elite. I can't imagine that just because we overthrew kings that the rich and the elite stopped doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's still a tendency to do that. Right. Just hypothetical.
Change a name and then marry your cousin.
Hypothetical.
Yeah.
I mean, there is
just for funsies.
Yeah, just for funsies. There is a conspiracy theory that I couldn't find much on, and so I'm going to say that it needs to stay in the realm of conspiracy theory because I couldn't find information on it. But that Ghislaine Maxwell, that one of her aunts or great aunts or something like that, that she's related to the Clinton family through one of those relatives. So
I want to say that when all this was coming out, I want to say that something like that popped up in one of those like clickbait kind of things on social media.
Yeah.
Something with the Clintons and the
Maxwell, problem is, and here's the problem with it. You can't find anything about Robert Maxwell's family. Personally, I have a theory. I think and I just came up with this because I was looking for it while we were working out.
Yeah.
Because my brain kind of started going down this thread, and I was like, "Oh yes, I'm going to pull this."
I saw the light bulb pop on, and
So the only person from Robert Maxwell's family that we know of that we were like really can like find is he has a sister that is named.
Yeah.
But finding his siblings, Robert Maxwell, I was using AI because I was just researching quick on this because we were working out. Yeah. And we're getting ready to record the show an hour later. And so this will be last week's episode. And so I was like trying to ask ChatGPT, what are Robert Maxwell's siblings? And then it would tell me about his kids. And I was like, hey, you just told me about his kids. I want to know about his siblings. And then it would be like, oh, yeah, good catch. And then it would tell me about his kids again. Yeah. And I was like, tell me about his siblings. No documentation really exists. Here's his kids. And it kept
I confirmed too. When you told me that, I popped over to my phone real quick and popped up my chat.
It wasn't just mine. It was
the exact same thing. Yeah. It would take me to his kids and tell me all kinds of stuff about his kids.
All kinds of stuff about his kids.
But nothing about a single sibling.
Conspiracy theory. What if his entire, and so they have 6 name changes. What if his entire background is completely made up?
Yeah.
Completely fake.
Interesting.
And that's why there's no information that exists about his siblings and who their kids are. Now, the decent little cover up of that is the theory, the official theory is that all of his siblings passed away in the Auschwitz.
Yeah.
In the concentration camps. There we go.
Yeah.
Because they are Jewish in descent.
Right.
Because as we talked about, the president of Israel was at his funeral and said he has done more for Israel than we can even share today.
Yeah. I have a name theory for you too.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Go for it.
Okay. So him changing his name to Maxwell. Maxwell is not a traditional Jewish.
It's Austrian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. And I thought of this while you were talking. So one of my favorite old rock stars is Richie Valens. His real name is Ricardo Valenzuela. That was his real name. If you know Richie Valens La Bamba, right? Because his record producers knew that he wouldn't sell a single record if people knew that his name was Ricardo Valenzuela. So they changed his name to Richie Valens and spelled it different so that people would think his dark skin that he was Italian. They're like, we can sell an Italian singer. We can't sell a Mexican singer. So he changed his name completely so people wouldn't know that he was Mexican, right? And he sold a bunch of records before he finally came out and said, hey, I'm really Mexican. I'm not Italian. What if Mr. Maxwell didn't want his Jewish last name to be tied to that? Obviously, if the concentration camps and all that stuff are going on too. Right, obviously, during that time frame, he didn't want people to know that he was Jewish because just having a Jewish last name, Jewish or not, you were being rounded up and all that stuff. So, for me, that's the big reason that he changed his name. It's interesting that he changed it as many times as he did, but for me, that's probably a big reason why he changed his last name.
Absolutely, that. I think they even part of the documentation is that he wanted to have a more Austrian sounding name so that he could serve in the military or whatever, something like that. You can look it up. It's a public background,
right?
There's 100 podcasts that talked about it. I don't want to go down that track of just
changing your last name used to be way easier than it was now.
Yeah.
So even my last name, we talked about my last name and how prideful I am of my last name. It's only been my family's last name for a few generations because my ancestors rode around with Pancho Villa and they were bandits and stuff. And so to get away from the U.S. government who was rounding up all these bandits, they changed their last name to what my last name is now so that they couldn't find him.
Oh, interesting.
As he integrated into the country.
Yeah.
So they weren't able to find him because he didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But that last name stuck and that's the last name that we have now.
Crazy.
So that's interesting.
Well, that's like our mom's maiden name.
Yeah.
Was just given to them.
Yeah, just given to him
on
because
Ellis
it was
Island.
easier to say.
Yep. Just made up
and it
name.
just stuck. So yeah.
And that's actually, I think, now that I remember, again, I didn't want to just replicate what already podcasts are out there that did a great job at Robert's background.
Right.
But I think that is actually one of the name changes was the person writing it down was like, the theory is that he couldn't spell it. And so he just wrote a different name. Yeah. And the different name basically means like friend or something, or hello. It means hello in German or something like that. And I was like, interesting. But anyway, that's but what if all of that is completely made up? But the only sibling that we know anything about at all of Robert Maxwell's is his sister Sylvia, Hoch, which I think that means hello in German or something like that. I think
definitely not German.
Someone's going to correct me.
Yeah, maybe German.
I'm just going to translate.
I don't know. Translate it. Yeah, because we were talking about
it means
how it's pronounced.
It is the German word Hoch translates to high or tall. Okay. So high, High, not hello.
Oh, not like hello.
Yeah, high or tall. Gotcha. That makes sense. But yeah, it is German apparently. So so his sibling was Sylvia, and she was rescued. Let me find this.
I don't know anything about Sylvia.
Yes.
Other than you finding that name, then you told me about it.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. So Sylvia, his sister, was famously rescued.
Okay.
She was one of the people, one of the Holocaust survivors or whatever that was rescued out of Germany by the famous Raoul Wallenberg. Have you ever heard that name?
No.
So apparently this guy was Swedish. He was a Swedish architect.
Okay.
Who is attributed to saving tens, if not hundreds of thousands of Jews from Germany during World War II. Raoul Gustav Wallenberg was his name, and he was from Stockholm, Sweden. So now his sister, that's all the information we have. There's no more information about her.
Yeah.
There's no sibling, or there's no spouse, no family, no kids, no nothing. She ceases to exist, basically, based off
just
of
on a list
my
of people that escaped.
Of who he had rescued specifically. Yeah. But you look into Raoul Wallenberg a little bit, and he's a World War II hero in Sweden and well known.
Yeah.
Controversy around him. Funny enough, the controversy is that he's famous for saving over 80,000 Hungarian Jews during the Holocaust.
Okay.
And the controversy is that likely couldn't have been more than 1,000 that he could have saved.
Okay.
The number has to be lower because there's just no trace of these people that he supposedly saved. But not only that, in 1945, he was arrested by the KGB and was tried and processed as a secret agent.
By the KGB?
By the KGB.
That's interesting.
After World War II is done, he disappears. Doesn't exist anymore. Then the KGB comes out in 1957 to between 1957 and 1960, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we took him out. He died in 1947." But there's reports of him being cited after that.
Yeah.
So this guy is arrested, tried as a secret agent, so allegedly by the KGB after World War II, who had supposedly rescued 80,000+ people.
Yeah.
And Europe wasn't like, hey, we're going to negotiate this guy who is a hero back. They're just like, oh, where did he go? Oh, he disappeared? Oh, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just weird. And then
weird.
He just disappears as well.
Yeah.
So, ties. Apparently, this guy has scandals and ties to the OSS and the CIA. As a Swedish person.
I was going to say,
declassified OSS documentation.
Yeah.
He was working with OSS became the CIA, if you didn't know that.
Yep.
Declassified OSS documents, he was working with, if not one of, our assets.
Oh, yeah. So that, you know what, that
one of our assets. Let's start connecting some alleged dots that are hypothetical just for funsies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Bouncing through my head right now.
So let's say he is a CIA agent. Let's say the KGB, the CIA, the Mossad, all these guys work together.
Yep.
This guy now needs a new identity so that he can kind of put that in the past or whatever.
Right.
This sister of Robert doesn't actually exist because it's part of a fake background that exists by this CIA agent who created this fake background.
Right.
And Mossad is working with them, and Robert Maxwell is a Mossad agent, and he's a known, UK straight up says that he was a secret agent.
Yeah.
So this secret agent's sister was rescued by a secret agent who just happened to disappear, both of them.
It's a whole lot of secret agents.
There's a lot of secret agents going on in this.
Yeah. This seems like a 007 movie, but like family. That's crazy.
And so allegedly the reason the KGB arrested him was because of his ties to the Secret Service, to the OSS, CIA.
Okay, so the KGB, so I was going to say, like, who was he
Allegedly.
spying for, allegedly? And that makes if he's spying
But he's
for
a
the
Swedish-
OSS double agent, supposedly, allegedly, Swedish double agent. Interesting.
And yeah,
What an interesting way to create a bunch of new identities for people than to have 79,000 escaped 79,000 rescued Jewish people from this terrible thing going on in Germany, and all of a sudden you have 79,000 names and identities to choose from.
Mike.
Tanner.
I love where you're going. But I want to share with you the kicker.
Okay. Kick me with it.
The all-powerful Wallenberg family conglomerate.
That's a thing?
This guy's family, yes.
Okay.
They were very rich, very wealthy, very powerful. They had pre-war commercial ties with the Nazis that continued into the war.
Would it be...
So they wonder if this whole thing was made up to suppress that they aided the Nazis. What better way
to say I
saved than to save a bunch of alleged people that didn't exist? Now you make a tie to somebody like McGraw-Hill, owner, gets to publish what's in the textbooks.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden,
make the history.
Now all of a sudden, we've got these people who are, and as we've established in the past, the Nazis did not lose the war. Germany did.
Yeah.
The Nazi funders now all of a sudden get to rewrite the textbooks too.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden, their funding the Nazis goes to, we're getting these people escaping. And so let's just throw in a random sibling of the McGraw-Hill owner to confirm that, like, this is real.
Yeah, this really happened. And yeah. I mean, when you write the history books, you can make them say whatever you want. And when you're the only game in town, interesting. You can make places like Tartaria disappear. You can do all those good things. You can change the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. You can, there's so much you could do if you control all of the learning for the majority of the world.
And the Wallenberg family, bankers.
Do
you remember the talk about how it was a lot more about the bank than it was the Jews at the time?
Yeah. Is that Swedish for Rothschild? That was a joke.
Oh, I was like,
you thought about it for a second though. You're like, maybe.
I was like, is it?
I don't know. It just sounds very Rothschild-y.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like rich family that, is philanthropical, but the more you dig, the more you find out. But there's really no information about them at all, other than every once in a while one will disappear.
Well, okay, so you've got the Maxwells with a made-up name. Yeah. Completely fake.
Yeah.
So they were Jewish ancestry. You also have Jeffrey Einstein, who is also Jewish ancestry.
Yeah.
It starts... my brain there's a connection, and my brain is not...
It's not...
I'm stuck because the Wallenbergs were Nazi bankers.
Yeah.
And I'm stuck. But if a listener can make a connection, but it's a lot of German ties. I'll put it this way. One way or the other, not dependent upon their religious background. A lot of German ties with all of this family and all of these people.
Yeah. That's crazy that it went from textbooks, and we can dig so far back that it starts to connect with all the things we've talked about before.
Yeah. We're just talking about textbooks.
Just textbooks. Yeah.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's kind of the kicker, the moment that there's so much weird stuff.
Money seems to make the world go round.
Yeah.
And when you have enough money, you can write the history and you can shape the future really for countries in the world and everything else. So money makes the world. You and I will never be part of that influence because we will never make that kind of money.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of okay with that.
That's,
you know what I mean?
I don't.
Wealthy people tend to disappear, and bad things seem to pop up and happen to wealthy people.
Yeah.
I get to just enjoy my life of bliss and ignorance and make up theories about people I'll never meet and never know.
Yeah.
So it's good times.
So the last thing that I wanted to put out there about the Maxwell family, because all we have is this sibling of Robert that may or may not have existed.
Right.
We have Robert, who we know existed and was very powerful and had a lot of ties and connections.
Yep.
And then we have all of the Robert Maxwell's kids.
Yep.
So what are some of Ghislaine's siblings? What are they doing? So one of them is a prominent internet content pioneer and educator, created the search engine Magellan, co-founded the software company Chiliad.
Are you familiar with Magellan?
A little bit.
Magellan's there for a while, when you were doing research.
Yeah.
For college, educational
research. That's where, yes. I couldn't remember where.
Magellan is the website you could go to, and they had they would direct you the direction they want you to go. Yeah. When you'd write a research paper. That's interesting, talking about McGraw-Hill.
So one of his siblings, one of his kids,
the Magellan, okay.
Co-founded Magellan, and then the software company Chiliad, Chiliad. I haven't had time to go into what they do.
What that is.
Was a program manager of the learning technologies at the University of Texas.
A university, huh?
We got university connections. The other co-founder of Magellan, another one of the kids of Robert. So they co-founded it together, and they were twins. Served as the president of Comtech, helped build the Israel Venture Network's social entrepreneur program, and is recognized as a technology pioneer by the World Economic Forum. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So then we have Ian Maxwell, who is a British businessman, co-founder and director of the think tank Combating Jihadist Terrorism, involved in managing arms of the family media business. And then we have Kevin, who is a British businessman, formerly involved in the family media empire.
Okay, wait, we got to go back to Chiliad.
Go back.
You know what Chiliad does?
What?
You're going to like this. You're going to get giddy about this one. So Chiliad is a software company, and this software company they basically are a place where people can go to search, analyze, and monitor large volumes of data across a number of different sources. This is the software that is used by the FBI to connect information from diverse databases and applications. It's basically what the FBI uses. They use this software to connect the dots. It's the red strings.
Yeah.
In a tech world. They run it.
Wow. Okay.
Dun,
okay.
Dun, dun.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You didn't even know you were making that connection.
I didn't make that connection.
Just think if you could control that too. And on top of the information that's going out, you're controlling the information that the FBI can see.
Yeah. So, gosh, my brain is... Okay.
It's a Hydra kind of thing is what it feels like. It feels like all the kids went out and started businesses or acquired businesses that would help them to better control the information that they already controlled.
Yeah. And the last sibling is the one who sold, and I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, that sold our government their cybersecurity software. Mm-hmm. So literally the one who created, owns, and runs our government and our secret services and our high government classified stuff runs the security, the cybersecurity software for them.
So the Maxwell kids run our textbooks, the stock market analysis, the FBI's search engines, the national security tech, the research engines that college students use to write their papers.
Yeah.
Among other things. Wow. That doesn't seem like a coincidence.
We have this random Ghislaine who runs a trafficking island.
Yeah.
I think she was involved in a little more than that.
There might be something. Yeah, there might be something there. It's a good thing we only do this for fun, though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there might be something there.
There might be something do your own research and things and figure out what you can find out, but then just for funsies.
One last, not related, completely not related. It might be related, but it's not related.
It's all related.
This last week, the Department of Justice, they introduced classified evidence against the person who attempted to assassinate Trump at the Trump headquarters or whatever.
Yeah.
The Judge Cannon ruled the evidence that it could cause exceptionally grave damages to the national security of the U.S. and then ordered it sealed.
I did see that, and I was like, shady.
And then people who have digested and gone through the Einstein unaliving himself footage has officially found discrepancies within it.
Yeah.
You start to wonder with all these connections, and I'll just let you wonder. All right, with that.
Continue to
wonder. Next week, man, we're going to have a fun week.
Oh, it's going to be a good time.
Next week will not be a dark episode.
We're going to have to think of a real interesting, like, conspiracy type of deal that, I don't know, has something to do with a year or something. That's or anniversary.
Something like that. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, it'll be something silly and fun.
We don't have next week's topic figured out because we just know that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be a riot. We're going to have fun. Lots of fun. But with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, as we've talked about. That it does make a difference. It really does, actually. And then as just a reminder from earlier in the episode, send us the things that you would be willing to purchase a monthly subscription using Patreon.
Yeah.
What kind of content would you be willing to pay for so that we can get you what you want? Are you interested in hot sauce or salsa? Are you interested in t-shirts? You would want to just pay the minimum amount, but you want, the unedited versions of the podcast, that kind of, like, whatever. Yeah. Just remind you. Yep. Post that stuff. You can post it in the comment section in the Discord. I don't care. I would imagine most people who would pay for Patreon will probably already be in the Discord.
Yep.
But if you're not in the Discord and you would pay for Patreon content, shoot me a message, comment on the wherever you listen, do something to let us know what you'd be interested in, if you are interested in anything that we could provide.
And in honor of MC Philly Phil over there, don't forget to be your biblically accurate best.
Yes. It's a great philosophy. Great philosophy.
It is.
We love you guys. And thank you guys for a really, really interesting year.
Yeah.
In which we'll reminisce more next week. But man, it has been a lot of fun.
Lots happened in a year.
I have just personally in my life, we welcomed a kid, had crazy stuff happen. My eyes have been open to things that I never imagined.
Yep.
My opinions on the world have dramatically changed in this last year because of the research we do on the show.
And even not taking it too seriously, I have found that I pay more attention to what's going on in the world, and not in a conspiracy theory kind of way. Before I just kind of paid attention to my world right around me, but now I pay more attention to what's going on in the world just because, partially for the show, but partially because I find it more interesting now that we've been doing the show.
Yeah, same. And I even just like little things like the earthquakes and stuff. It's like, I recognize more patterns than I used to.
Right.
Whether there is anything to the pattern, it is interesting to see stuff like that. You look at the world different. But also I feel like one of the best things has been just the pressure of like the grind.
Yeah.
Is so much less than it ever used to be.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've really started to really realize how much more important it is for me to love my kids, love my family. Like, even just, we were talking about it, getting to see you more because of the podcast.
Well, because we live an hour away, we just don't get together as often. And now we have a reason to.
sometimes
So
just
it's
life
given
gets
us that too.
busy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's easier to just chill at home than
Right.
pack up and drive an hour down to see you guys. But now,
Yeah.
after having spent so much time, it's like I'm way more willing to do that now
Right.
than I used to be.
And I'm glad the listeners have like accepted me and want me to
Yeah.
be part of the show too. 'Cause,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I really enjoy this. It's a good time.
But yeah, it's so much stuff that it goes. It's so big.
Yeah.
The corruption, the darkness, the whatever. It's at a level that's like the best way to fight it is to love those around you. Like that really, like I used to say it a lot because of my religion and my faith and stuff like
Saying it
that.
and living it are two different things.
But man, after doing this show, I really truly believe the biggest impact we can have on the world is by loving those around us. I really truly believe it now.
Yeah.
And I used to say it, but man, I really believe it now because
Right.
realistically, how are you going to undo mega corporations and family ties like the Maxwell family?
Yeah. You're not. We've
never even really heard of them until Einstein didn't unalive himself.
Yep.
You know, and how do you don't?
Nope.
You love your family.
Yep.
And man,
Just being mindful, living in the moment, and Yeah.
So that's what we mean when Phil says live your BA best. That is loving your BA best.
Yeah.
Love the Lord your God, love your neighbor as yourself, and like and subscribe and comment. Okay, bye.
Bye.
In the ancient days of giants, when the earth was wild and free, a creature roamed the valleys, cloaked in mystery. Is he born of angels' blood and man, a Nephilim so tall, or a shadow of the fallen, yet heeding the Maker's call? He's a biblically accurate Bigfoot, with a lineage from the skies. Not a myth or legend, but a truth that never dies. Is he a remnant of the Nephilim, a titan standing tall? Or does he have the word of God upon him, the last to hear the call?